All right. Kind of messy in here, isn't it? Yeah, well. All right, so today I got a call from Rosie. This is for my children. All these archives are for my children. I love you. 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 Ryan, Jay, Isaac, I love you. Clarity, Anna, Ella, I love you. Aphrodite, I love you. My seventh child is Lucas Wilder, Angel First Class. I love you. Today I'm going to speak about something. I'm going to speak about drugs, specifically marijuana, and it's not going to be a typical talk about these things. So, if you are under the age of 25 and you are my child, you're not allowed to touch marijuana. And there are specifically reasons for that. And by the way, when I say not allowed by me, but I don't control you. You are a sovereign person. God gave you your own decree. He stands behind your decree of free will. So you're going to make the decisions you make. And this video is to just give you information to take into consideration. The reason why I said 25, and I'll include these studies with this video, is the human brain is not done developing. It means it's still working out its own self and how it's growing until about the age of 25. And it specifically has noticed in studies that marijuana, interrupts some of the ways in which it's able to learn and teach itself and its ability to retain information. So in that case, as your dad and as your father and as somebody cares for you, father or dad, whatever, and that's I don't want you to interrupt that. I stand behind you having the sharpest mind that you can and to go through schooling as fast as you can and have the fastest and clearest mind available. Also, there's that, and you can do your own research on that. Just type in what does pot do to a young mind as far as development and the ways in which a mind hasn't started growing, the human brain. You can do that, of course. But today I'm just going to talk about my opinion. And I'm going to be well-rounded with it, which means I'm going to tell you about what I think the benefits of, say something like marijuana. I'm only speaking about marijuana, not all drugs, just marijuana. I don't choose to do marijuana anymore. I did when I was younger. I did not finish high school. I did attend some colleges, but I did not finish them. And I do have a very specific sensation of being very, very lazy when I started smoking marijuana, especially when I started smoking marijuana daily. And what we called that was called wake and bake. That means you're basically kind of always smoking it. This is an experience I actually had where I was dating this very, very attractive young woman, and she was actually a model for Foley's. She modeled underwear at Foley's. So on some Sundays, opening the newspaper, I could see there's my girlfriend, and I would brag about her. And we hadn't been together very long, but this one time she came over to my house at about 6 at night, and we weren't together very long, maybe a few months. But I had smoked a lot of pot, and I passed out at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And that was January 13th, 1993. The reason why I remember that date is because the next morning when I woke up, she was naked on the couch with my roommate. And I decided, as I self-examined after being a little upset with my roommate, I realized that I had done that to her a lot of times. She had come over, asked to hang out, and I had basically just got high and then just fell out. Sometimes I didn't even know how she left. I would just be so oblivious to her being there. Like, to even what was she doing? What did I do with her? I don't know. So I took my own responsibility for being basically an absentee boyfriend, even when she was hanging out with me. And I also examined my business. At the time, I ran a DJ business, and I'm very young, and I started a business. And the way DJ business works is you have a gig this week because somebody called you months ago to book it. And so you book it 3-4 months in advance, or sometimes longer. Weddings, they do it a year in advance. And then, so my work this month is what I booked 6 months ago or 3 months ago. And I noticed as I did my self-editing or self-auditing that since I had started smoking pot, I was not booking new events. So what was coming to be the reality right then was I didn't have anything booked because for multiple months, I preferred to just stay at my house, get high, and then watch Cops or something. We had VHS, watch Cops on reruns. And because I wasn't going out getting new business, and by the way, this put me in a pickle because even if I ran out that day to try to get new business, I wasn't going to have those gigs for multiple months. So not only that, but I was taking a look at some of the ways in which I was operating my life when I was very high. My job was to DJ at least 2 nights a week and sometimes 3. And I had 2 other rigs that were operating by DJs that I had trained. So they would use those rigs when I was working. I couldn't be in 2 places at once. So I trained them to use the other rigs at the other locations. And I want to tell you this. If people say pot doesn't make you lazy, some people are older people, things like this, they have a certain type of regimen. But for me, as a young kid, ready for this? All I had to do was show up for 4 hours, 2 days a week. I would call somebody that worked for me to cover one of those shifts. Because I was like, man, that's how lazy I got. So lazy, I was like, couldn't work. To me, it was like, that's such a pain in the butt. So that's my story. Now, I'm going to speak now about the spiritual benefits of what I experienced. And this is not to entice you to go out right now and use marijuana, but the reason why I say there's a 25 years is that I am not by any means saying to you that there's no benefit from marijuana and some of the things that, and I'll say it to you like this, and you have never probably heard this before because this isn't something I got online or this isn't something somebody told me. This is my own spiritual relationship with it sometimes. And that is, I thought at that time that it's like almost like a mail service for like the spiritual conversation that is in the subconscious mind of your higher self and things that delivers the state of receptive posture, meaning you're relaxed, you're not allowing the mind. It's when you're high, or at least this when I was high, I would be able to think and allow thoughts in and stretch the mind in ways that was from a rigid point of view without having pot, I wouldn't have gone to that space. So my reason for bringing that up is my saying to you that you're not allowed to do marijuana by me is I'm putting this date on it because I want you to know that at that time of 25, I don't have a concern about if you choose to do so after that date. So this isn't me, your dad saying, never do it. I'm just telling you that I am committed to that not happening. And when I say committed, the reason why this conversation is today is I'm speaking to my son, Isaac, who is so amazing to me. And there's a lot of confusing conversations going on, but and there were some things that were happening, and we're not going to name names, but that there's a possibility, if you're 16, that you're around some people that you cared about a lot, that were all joining in on pot and some other things, and they were asking you to join, and you were kind of concerned and shared concern with your mother, and I'm so proud of you, Isaac, for calling. That's like so huge, because I want you to know that it tells me that the most important thing that you know to be true is that you wouldn't be laughed at or told that's stupid to even think of by your mother. That you have a relationship with her and with me that has enough space in it that you feel comfortable enough to share with us. And that's half the game right there. Just that you have somebody to talk to about it, which means, and when I mean half the game, with doing that call to your mother today, Isaac, I wanted to give you praise and props, and I want to say how proud I am, no matter what decision you make, of just that call. because in a threshold of the averages of people, all the kids in the world and all the kids in America, you're already at 1%. You're already at the top of that. That's so honoring. And so let's start with this. Now I'm going to directly talk about the decree that all of you have to choose to do what you choose to do, and how that does not affect your love, or the love that we have for you, or the love that, or the faith that we have in you. So nothing that you can do, and I'll speak just for myself, nothing that any of my children can do would ungod them or break them in my mind, like they're just cut out. That's impossible. I have absolute unconditional faith, support, and love for you. Okay? Now, I give you a challenge because I know how hard this conversation can be, because as you know, I had a drug past, and I've done many different types of experiences, and I will tell you why I did them. And when the time comes, you can see when you're asked if to do it, if this relates to things. I love my friends. I want to be with them. And I want them to know that I don't judge them, and I want to join them on going to places, on experiences. I want to be with them. And when I was first propositioned for drugs, they came from people that I loved and respected, and I felt as if to not say yes would be to deny them. And to not join them would be to say that I am, and to not have the experience that I wouldn't be with them on wherever they are. And on top of that, I have a commitment to not just decide I don't say no to things because of fear. So in my mind, the fear was like, okay, there's all the fears, and I don't listen to fears to steer my life. I listen to a different type of internal decree. And so I didn't at that time have the tools to be able to distinguish what a powerful decision was, but I did know that I absolutely want and to support my friends and to be with them. And that was true. And so therefore, there wasn't a clash as if like I was doing something wrong because I was going from the consideration of joining them. I want to tell you now what is possible if somebody would have had, say, a conversation like this with me. This world is full of events that are going to come up. And there's many times in your life where you're going to be in a group where it is going to seem like everyone is choosing to do something. And the difference between a person who leads and who affects the world in a direct and authority in their own body and decree, and a person who just goes along, is being presented to you. The test is hard. And if you fail it, I'm okay with that. It's so hard that 99% of the, maybe higher than that, fail it. That means they just go with it. And the test is so hard that it almost seems unfailable in a sense. I mean, what do you do? What, do you rewrite your life, or do you kick them out of it, or what? It's a very difficult test. But I present to you that with everything I've experienced, and with everything that I know to be true about my experiences with drugs, at the moment when you are the age as you are of teenagers, that is when the decisions that are coming up are the most difficult you're ever going to have and have had yet, but maybe not ever going to have in the future, because there's lots of things in the future coming, but the most difficult yet that you've had in your life, because they're no longer just kind of like, oh, like, did you decide when you were a kid what school to go to? No. Did you decide when you're a kid, what do you want to do when you're a kid? No. Did you decide when you're a kid, like, did you soul search when you were a little kid? What do I really love? What do I want to participate in? What kind of job do I want to have? No. Did you decide when you were a little kid what type of morals do I want to have? What type of person do I want to be religiously? No. Those are all of the things that are here now. And because I believe in you and I have faith in you. And I know that no matter what you choose, I'm going to love you and I'm going to have faith in you. I know that if you understood how much the effect of those type of drugs have, and what they could do is a deadening of like, well, the mind, if you noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but when people do a lot of drugs, you know what they're okay with doing? Nothing. And when I mean nothing, I mean nothing. Like before they did drugs, they wanted to go swimming, they wanted to go out to the park, they want to go down here, they want to go to the library, they want to go do this. And that is the biggest concern of the moment you're in. They do drugs and they sit on the couch and laugh and hang out. And that's something to them. Imagine if you remove the drugs and it was just that action of sitting on the couch and doing nothing. If anyone gets addicted to that, it transforms their life in a drastic way. So that, instead of being proactive out there looking at what schools maybe you want to go to or what you want to do in your life or having different conversations or being on a swim team or doing things with a job or instead of doing something else, in a sense being in authority and utilizing your decree to steer your life because you are the driver of it. You're the captain. You are the captain, first mate, everything. Your mothers and I can give you as much wisdom like this as we can, but we are not in the car with you. It'd be like maybe GPS. It's like you could access us at any time and ask, where's the directions to this? Or should I do this drug? And that's so amazing that we even have that faith that you guys have in us, but we're not in the car. But we're here for you. And we know you are driving your vessels and we stand behind your decree and your decisions and your free will. And I would like to attach to this video some of the research that I did for my son Ryan when he was 8 years old, Ryan J. And it's a document that's called Just Say No, KNOW, to drugs. Because there's a lot of things, I'd have to update it because in today's, like, I'll tell you right now, I mean, I'll just add, because I said I was only going to speak about marijuana, but like any street pills equals poison. Any pills is poison. Any street pills, poison. That wasn't the case when your mothers and I were young. But street pills, any kind of pill, any kind of press pill equals death. Doesn't equal fun. It equals death. That's that. And there's a lot of things about even just marijuana that are brand new that this document will cover. That's causing a lot of people to go schizophrenic. And you're going to be seeing a lot of that in your friends, like almost like a breakdown of their conscious mind state. And you're also going to notice the ones that do pot will kind of stop getting into after school projects, and they won't be on swim teams anymore, or they won't be in the band anymore. You know how I know that to be true? Because I did that. And guess who was hanging out with me? All my friends who also quit everything and got out. They weren't doing extracurricular. They weren't doing band anymore. They weren't doing. So I love you. 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 Like I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you for watching this video. Ryan, Aaron. No, Ryan, Aaron. That's my brother. Ryan. Isaac, Clarity. Anna, Ella. Aphrodite, and Angel First Class. Lucas, I love you.